Hi guys, I'm Luke Reinbold. I want to talk about a concept that I think can really help you, as it's certainly helped me. Okay, and it's an analogy of the rungs of a ladder. Okay, now it's important to remember that a horse will only ever be as soft, or maybe we could say responsive, as our first touch or our first request. Okay, now that's going to come into the usage of my hands with the reins. That's going to come into how I use my feet, my aids, all of that. Okay, but think of it as the analogy is there's a rungs of a ladder. Okay, there's many rungs on the ladder, and at the bottom is where I prefer to live. I used to make my living in some ways on a ladder, and I prefer not to do that anymore. I'd rather be on the ground, and that's where softness and responsiveness is. Okay, but if necessary, I will climb the ladder based on what the job entails. Okay, so remember, horses are masters of anticipation. Do the same thing only a couple times, and the horse anticipates the steps and how it's going to play out. Those are the rungs of the ladder. Okay, so if I ask my horse for something, I'm always going to ask as soft as possible, bottom of the ladder. But I'm prepared to climb the rungs of that ladder. Okay, and if the horse knows that the firmness gets worse the higher you go, they don't want that, and that's how a horse gets soft. Now, before anybody goes, well, that's just people imposing their will. No, this is actually, no human actually invented or came up with this concept. The horse did. Smart humans figured out how to utilize this, and then some humans have even capitalized on it. Okay, so you think of this as you have a colt out in the pasture. If he does something silly and one of the mares tells him, hey, don't do that, and they'll usually ask very softly to start. It might be just laying the ear back, they kip their hip over, something. They're gonna say, hey, Junior, don't do that. And if he just backs down, you probably never even notice, because the mare was on the bottom rungs. But if Junior doesn't, and Junior just keeps being a pushy stinker and just is being rude, well, that mare will climb the rungs of that ladder and may get very firm, biting, even kicking, all those things that might be perceived as really forceful. Okay, and if Junior learns the steps, you agree with that? If Junior learns the steps and how this might play out, because he's a horse, so he'll be good at anticipation, he'll learn those lessons. And if we're smart, we're gonna do the same thing. So with our rein usage, remember, your horse is only as soft as your first touch. If we go around all cranked up on those reins, pulling back because we're anxious and nervous, really what we've done is we've skipped multiple rungs of that ladder, and we're right up at firmness level. And that's just not natural to a horse. It doesn't make any sense to a horse and why we would do that. And I think you can get the idea how that might really portray and work out in multiple areas with our horse. So my advice to you is try to use that analogy of sometimes we need to climb the rungs of the ladder, but let's say please first, in essence. Let's really try to be soft and stay either on the ground or, worst case, the first rung of the ladder. Okay, I hope that analogy helps you guys. I'm Luke Reinbold. We'll see you down the trail.